Right, if you're going into the D141, can you do it now? Because I'm going to close the door. John. Right, do you want to do this or not, or will I do it? I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. Just Right, could I have your attention, please? Could I have your attention, please? I would like to introduce you to our mentoring and internship and placement Q&A panel. Starting from the left is Matthew Collins, Rora Media. Next to him is Craig Pride. Craig was Matthew and Nana, who's somewhere in the audience, is, thank you, if you'd like to turn to the camera. Placement student. Next is David Muffett from Arnold Clark, Angela Castellano, who was an SIE intern, Andrew Britton from BBC Scotland, and Tony Edwards from the SECC. All of the employers have taken on either internship students, placement students, or mentoring students, mentees. So my first question to employers is, what are the advantages to the business of having a mentoring or placements?
Thanks. From a business's point of view, it's quite interesting because a lot of people in our business have been there a very long time and they get quite staid and they sort of don't really question very much about what they're doing. They just plod along, doing the same thing day in, day out. And I think when you get somebody who's full of questions, full of enthusiasm, it can just lift the entire workforce, because everybody wants to help. And you find people that you thought were kind of in a compartment of their own and really probably should stay there, suddenly come out and you see a whole different side to some of your employees that have been for years and years and years just plodding along. They suddenly get this real drive to be quite engaged, and they start coming forward and saying, oh, you've got so-and-so, I could take them out and get them to see this, or oh, so-and-so was in and they were helping us do this and this was really good, so there is a kind of quite a big benefit, I think, from the employer's side of it, that you really kind of invigorate your workforce without actually having to take anybody on a full-time basis. And we get to see different people each year, so you get to see the different personalities coming through. It's good from that point of view.
Could you pass the mic to Tony, please?
Yeah, I mean, the same kind of thing. I mean, what they do is they bring questions, they bring new ideas. They question the way things are done by the people who've been doing it for years, and then say, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe we can do it differently. So it actually helps from that point of view. And what I would say is mentoring doesn't stop just right where you are in the very beginning of a career. It continues throughout. I mean, I've got a mentor who is a director of the company, because I'm looking to progress as much as I can in later on. And anyone within the company can mentor someone else within the company. So it's not strictly a student relationship. It's something that more and more businesses are using throughout the business in the knowledge, and using the knowledge that's gained from those with more experience to pass it to those from different departments. And you can have more than one mentor within our organisation as well. You can have 2 or 3 mentors in different disciplines that, as I say, just help you in different strings to your bow, if you like, and just bring you on in different aspects.
Could you pass on to David Moffat, please? From Arnold Clark.
I mean, one of the things is that students, and when you bring people in, it's the energy that you bring to an organisation when you arrive, like a hurricane coming through at times, the organisation, and I mean that in a positive way. And what I mean by that is that with this energy comes mistakes that get made or things don't quite go right. I've previously had people start with us and they've used their applications in ways we never thought they would because they just saw things from a different angle. So one of the real benefits is this energy and this ability to try things and sometimes make mistakes. And that's why I think it's really, really good. And you're using your mentor to make sure you try not make the same mistakes that we've made before, but you're making different mistakes, you're learning and trying different things, you're not afraid, not as cautious, not caught up in company politics or anything like that. So you've got this real energy that can come from it, real positive energy.
We had Craig. So this was Nana and I's first intern, and second intern. And I think what it brought to us was two things. One, they challenge everything that you do. Constantly asking why this is a particular way, why, how something works, why it works that way, how we can maybe do it better. And I think that for us it was really beneficial to refine processes that we hadn't necessarily looked at since we had started the company, things that we thought were very obvious and very simple, and then we looked at them and after Craig was sitting going, what is this that you're doing? It made that whole organizational experience a lot more streamlined and a lot smoother. So I think from that perspective, having somebody come in who's not necessarily attached to your business in a full-time employment status, who is willing to challenge what the business does and how the business proceeds, is hugely beneficial to us. Is that us?
I have to keep passing the mic back and forth because we've only got one mic, unfortunately. So it's back to me. From the mentee's perspective, and I've just realised Adele is actually in the audience, so she was your first intern. Would you like to come on down? Please. Adele was Matthew and Nana's first intern at Rora Media. Could I ask you to briefly describe the internship that you did with Matthew and Nana?
It was my first working experience after university, so it was just getting experience in a working environment, using the skills I'd learned at university, so it really helped that way.
Super, thank you. What did you get out of it? She's working at Axis Animation, so I think she got a job with Axis out of it, to be quite honest. I've put her right on the spot. She got a job at Axis from, working with Rora. So you certainly learnt a lot there. To get into Axis is really something. I mean, it's a superb company. So you did well to get into that. What are your, so how did your career prospects improve from doing the placement at Rora?
I think it's just having experience working with a company, having a name to put on your CV, coming straight out of uni, showing that with an internship, just showing that you have enthusiasm. So I think that's what they were looking for. Okay, so your enthusiasm just brimmed over, did it? Yeah. Okay, so they noticed that. I can see, I can see Nana smiling here. None at all. Actually, Adele was sitting here last year and they spotted her, so they were talent spotting, to be quite honest. They talent spotted Adele and took her on, and she is in Axis now. So I was going to say, what are your career goals now? World domination in frame store? Just to work through the company. I'm just learning so much still, so I think working in a working environment, what I expected leaving uni, it's completely changed. What I want to do, it's completely changed. So, yeah.
And you're loving it?
Loving it.
Loving it, yeah. It's a brilliant place to be, Axis. Jill Wallace, thank you very much. Okay, next question is the same for Angela. Briefly describe your placement, if you can, with SIE.
So, for the Scottish Institute for Enterprise, it was a really different placement for the experiences I had before. Because while it's really easy to work in a desk, just go up to your supervisor and ask for a list of tasks that you have to go through the day, for SAE, I had to work on my own initiative. So I always have to come out with new idea every day on how to engage with students, how to talk to lecturers, and fun ideas for events and competition. So I guess just brainstorming every single day was really different experience from what I'm doing now in an office.
Thank you. And what have you got out of the SIE internship?
Another job, because I got promoted as intern program assistant now, so I have to coordinate the interns for next year. But mostly self-confidence. English not being my first language, I always had issues approaching students, lecturers, staff members, but now, right now, I feel more confident about just talking in public and answering questions and so on.
Thank you. And have your career prospects improved?
Yes, definitely. Even though I'm a computing student, now I feel like I have more passion for other subjects as well, like entrepreneurship or commercialization. So I don't know what I'll end up doing or working as when I graduate, but I feel like my horizon is wider now.
Okay, you've just asked the last question, which you just answered it, which was, what are your career goals now?
I only just finished second year, so hopefully I'll work for SAE until I graduate, and then I'll just see, probably IT. But having this experience with entrepreneurship and students, it's just something that I fall in love with. So I never know, maybe I'll open up my own company.
Okay, that's me now. Great. Okay, I don't think there's anybody next door, and that's all that really matters. Thank you. Craig, briefly describe your placement with Rora.
I'll try. Well, the placement really did. It opened my eyes to how you are meant to run a company, not how I thought you're meant to run a company, which meant I would more or less question most of the things and what I thought were different ways of doing it. But obviously, I have learned a lot from Matt and Nana in the main term of running a business and also dealing with clients and client workflow, and even just general day-to-day tasks. I was set a web project for the full placement, which I worked through, and then I did multiple other things as well, which really did challenge me and make me soar towards my main potential of what I can do. And now we wait for Evelyn to walk back down the stairs. What I got out of the placement was two great business friends who are also now mentors and are able to, who are continuing to help me with different business aim points and also helping me make tough decisions within my own career and also what I want to do in the future.
How have your career prospects improved since you've done the placement?
They've more or less soared. I've got a lot more different ways of thinking about problems, more ways of dealing with clients, reaching clients. More or less, I've improved most of my areas in web development and also graphic design, web design. I've more or less just improved all of my skills further on into a more realistic, real-world frame of working with clients.
Okay, and what are your career goals?
World domination.
That was a quick answer. Hardly obvious, yeah. We're talking pride, bite, and
Right.
the doglet, whose name I still don't know.
The doglet's called Lucy. That's
The doglet, okay, is Lucy. The doglet's brilliant.
I want to run my own digital agency, which is based on web design and graphic design, along with probably business marketing and social media marketing, and then obviously world domination as well. That will just be a little side project. Keep that on the side. But I'm more looking to go into entrepreneurship full time and just chase after the ideas in my head and see where they'll take me.
Thank you. Right, I've just spotted Yong Zhao from the audience. She did a placement with Made Brave, and I'd like her just to briefly describe what she did as well and the advantages of doing the placement at Made Brave. So thank you, Andrew Doby. He's a good friend of UWS. Can you describe your placement briefly?
Yeah, last year, August, I had a placement with Made Brave. I was dealing with the graphic design side, but my major is like web and mobile development. During this placement, I actually learned a lot in terms of how he runs business, how a team works as a whole, and also give me confidence, like in the future, looking for jobs as well. So if anyone have any web jobs, contact me. And so I just finished like my honors degree, then hopefully to get a work to do with web design.
Okay, what did you get out of the placement?
Just my confidence in terms of like looking for work in the future, and also experience of working as a team, experience of how he operates. Then when you're working in a real company, it's a bit different when you're working in university.
Have your prospects improved, do you think?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and what are your career goals? You're just about to graduate from web and mobile development. You've got your own business. Where do you want to go from here?
Well, I'm looking for a job at the moment. I think I spent 4 years doing web and mobile, so I want to continue doing this after I graduate. In terms of my own business, I'll do it on my spare time.
Okay, it's Elephant Trading Company, by the way.
Well, I have to.
Oh, so I beg your pardon, and the other one is?
It's a wig shop. It's,
okay.
It's girls like that. It's like skincare shops, yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant, thank you. Can I now ask some questions of the employers back to them? And perhaps I could ask Tony, what's the advantage to the mentoring staff of actually, or the placement staff, the person that's the mentor? What's the advantage to them of being a mentor, do you think?
Yeah, it gives them a chance to think about what they actually do and how they're going to pass across that information. They then need to, they have to think about what they do in their day-to-day jobs, what they do long-term in their jobs, and just how to get that information across. It helps them because it gives them a sense of pride, I think, in what they do in helping someone. Everybody wants to help naturally, so if you feel you're helping someone, they get a bit out of it just by doing that. And some are more natural than others, don't get me wrong, at actually teaching and passing the knowledge, but then that comes down to the person being mentored asking the questions to get as much knowledge out of the person with them as they can. And as Andrew related earlier, it also isn't just a one-on-one. They come in as part of what's already a team there, so they actually help with the whole team, and they see other disciplines within the organisation that they interact with and get to know more things than just what they've come to be mentored on. So I think everybody wins out of it without any doubt.
Could you pass the mic to Andrew, please?
Much the
same question.
Much the same thing for us. I mean, I think one of the things that the mentor gets out of it is they learn an awful lot more about their own company. The second guy I used to be a mentor was very much insular. He sat within the sound department that he worked in, and he hadn't really done an awful lot of networking with directors, producers in other departments and other teams across the business. And by having to find this person something to do every day, that forced him into a situation where he had to go and talk to a director in children's that he'd just never ever thought of walking through their door. We're supposed to be an open building with lots of interaction, but this helped stir it up a bit and get a bit more movement going. Because if you're left to your own devices, you will sit in your own little corner and do your own little thing and not mix very much. So it does force that communication across the business.
And did your mentors volunteer, or did you particularly pick them?
Bit of both.
Okay, right. Okay.
Some of them were volunteer-ed and other ones volunteer-ed.
Okay. And what do you think's the best? Is it just...
I think you have to kick the process to get it started.
Okay.
So, and sometimes some people don't know what's really going to be good for them. So you have to kind of persuade them that it's a good idea.
And the mentee-mentor relationship, how important is it to match mentee and mentor in your opinion?
I don't know. Two minds about this. I think in some ways, actually, being opposites can actually be quite good. It forces the sort of interpersonal skills you've got to have. You know, I mean, you're all very, relatively speaking, young, and you're going to have to deal with old people as you go through life. So you might as well force that relationship straight off. And it's interesting how much common ground people find very, very quickly. If you're a mixer, then you're going to work in something like the BBC. If you're not a mixer, well, maybe it's the time to find out and do something maybe where you can have a more solitary type career. Because we do have to deal with an awful lot of different people in an awful lot of different situations. Stressed people are my life.
I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Howell Jones for all the work that he's done with the students. He's not here today. We did invite him, but he's working, to be quite honest, but he did a fantastic job. So on behalf of Fiona, Polly and the chap last year whose name I've forgotten, Steve Bull, sorry Steve. I'd like to say thank you very much indeed for all your work, Howell. The other person I'd like to thank is Mo McRoberts from BBC Pacific Key on behalf of Professor Connolly, who mentors the third year computer games technology students for their computer games modules in the third semester of their course. The same question to David Moffat. It's what do you get? What does the mentor get out of the relationship, do you think?
Anyone that knows me, I'm always going on about the fundamentals and the foundations of computing science and how you build on that knowledge. So one thing is, at times when you're rushing ahead in a project, the mentors can start to forget about some of these fundamentals. But when you bring in somebody new to the business or a student, they ask you questions that make you think about those fundamentals again. What is it we're building on? What is it we're trying to do? Why are you doing it? Is this the right way of doing it? So they ask you all these questions that are grounded in the fundamentals that you will have learned in your course. And that's why I'm always saying to students when they come for interviews and things, be strong in the fundamentals, because that's how you show that you're well grounded and can have good transferable technical skills as well. So by asking these what you may think are basic questions, never be worried to ask a simple question to your mentor. It makes them stop, pause and think about those fundamentals, and that's good for everybody that's working on the technical side of a project.
Thank you. Could you pass the microphone to Matt, please?
I'll be honest when I say that when Nana and I left uni last year, we kind of ran off into the hills thinking that we needed no advice from anybody. And that we knew what we were doing, and I think that, harking back to what I said earlier on, with for what the person who gets mentored, what they receive from the program is they ask questions and they understand what their job type is, and maybe a bit more about the career path that they're going into. But from our perspective, this is our second time being mentors, but we've also adopted mentors ourselves from outside within industry. Yeah. And I think what we've kind of learned is that open conversation between two different people who have got either the same career path or the same career goals is hugely beneficial for everybody involved. For us, it's being able to see what we are doing and question why we're doing it, but also be able to see what people expect from us, what people expect from our business, particularly as an employee or somebody who's going to come into the business and work. I think that two-way relationship is invaluable for everybody involved.
Okay, I'd like to thank our mentors. I'd like to thank our placement employers and our internship employers. Andrew has been a fantastic friend to music technology and to the creative technologies programs over the years, as has Tony Edwards. I'd really particularly like to thank them both. Arnold Clark, we're coming there, David. We've got a relationship which is building there, and Rora, you're not getting away, by the way. I mean, they just see me and think, oh God, here she comes. Well, I can tell you they're going from strength to strength, and they're a testament to Mark Davison, who's, I hope, somewhere here. No, okay, he's not. The program leader on the web and mobile development course. He really, really instills into the students the requirement to have a portfolio of work out with university, because that's what gets you noticed. It really does. And would you agree that you've got to be doing things out with university to show and demonstrate to employers that you're dead serious about what you're doing? You want to spend your spare time doing it. Okay, so it means you really, really want to learn, want to find out about your business. And in addition to that, you can also make some money if you're able to get private clients. I'd also like to thank Ken and Joe from Video 3 Productions. They took on 3 paid employees, a first-year student called Ben Bristow, and a fourth-year student called Robin Barker, and another fourth-year student called Ben Henderson. So it's Ben H and Ben B. I first met Joe and Ken last year, and they connected really, really well with the students. They had a fantastic relationship. I can give you the mic if you want to say something very briefly. No? Ken's looking, oh, but Joe's got some pretty nice things to say.
We've actually had various experiences with students in a number of institutions. Some have been not so good, I have to say. But when we came here, we'd had a long-going relationship with UWS. We'd actually hired in a kind of mature student to do some camera work for us, which turned out so well. He's actually working for us full time now, and he's actually going to develop the whole video production side of the business. So I would actually imagine him taking over the business in the future, to be perfectly honest. That's how good that's working out. The 3 students we've done to develop new technology platforms for the delivery of the webcasts has been enormously successful. They've understood what we needed. They've understood the business drivers as well. And we always used to kid, when you're dealing with students, everything's manana, or maybe never even had that sense of urgency. But with these guys, when we said we needed it, it was done in time, and it was done properly. So it's been a great experience.
Thank you. So, Tom and Victoria, if you're thinking about introducing a placement program, talk to the guys that are here, because it really does work, and we would love to have some of our students doing a placement with you. We've got a variety of different things we could talk about. If there's anybody else, any employers in the audience who would like to talk about internships, placements, or menteeships, please come and talk to us. And Sally, you're not getting away, because we're always looking for animators or games, if it's game students you're interested in. We'd be delighted to put forward some candidates. Would you like to come forward and say a wee word on entrepreneurship and the university's driving initiative in that respect? This is working.
On the mic on.
Not on.
No, I did turn it on, but it doesn't do anything.
Right, okay. Right, do you want to hook? Do you want to come down and hook up, or just speak to the world? Just go for it.
I mean, nobody's been on the mic anyway. Yeah, so just mute. It says mute's on.
Yeah, that's okay. Mute's on.
It's only for the streaming. That's all it's for.
So just,
okay.
You can use it, it might work.
Okay, so just wanted to say a few words. I'm Gillian Fleming from the Enterprise Services Office, and it's part of our role to really encourage entrepreneurship throughout the university, both for academic staff and students alike. As you may well be aware, we have some key KPIs to meet in terms of company creation, and that's both what we would call student enterprise startup companies and also academic spin-out companies. The difference being that a student startup company is your own idea and your own IP, and an academic spin-out company involves technology or research that's been developed here at the university, that's owned by the university. We're here to help promote the startup of companies. There are lots of intervention schemes available, as one's already been mentioned, which is SIE, and Angela is currently doing a work placement in our office to help understand all the different types of intervention support that's available out there. And if anyone has an idea, I've had a look around some of the really interesting games that have been created and the animation that's been created. And there's lots there that if you think about it, there's that you could have a career with your own business. Equally, you might have a brilliant idea that you want to take with you in your employment with your eventual graduate employer, and maybe license that idea to the employer. So there's lots of ways that you can take technology forward and ideas forward, and that's what we're here to help with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. I'm just looking in the audience, and we have Ben Swindells, who was mentored by Once We're Farmers, so thank you to Will Adams for that. Chloe Campbell, who was mentored by Scott McClellan of Solus. And once again, could you put your hands together for our brilliant, brilliant panel? Thank you. Right, you can now go to lunch, which is in D145. Thank you. Thanks for that, really appreciated it.